Body positivity should be negative sometimes. You know what I mean? Body positivity isn't about being positive 24/7 about your body. I know a lot of people hate the idea of body positivity because it feels fake. It feels fake to feel positive all the time. But I'm here to tell you that body positivity is about your full range of emotions. Body positivity should be negative sometimes. Okay? Drop a 1 in the chat if you are intrigued. And welcome. Thank y'all for joining me. The reason why I think body positivity should be negative sometimes, because I think negative thoughts or a moment of toxic thoughts, it kind of signifies your growth. And I want to encourage all of us to get to a point that we treat toxic moments with our mind or our growth the same way we treat it with our body. So every day, we are hungry. We have to eat and drink several times a day, yet we don't judge that. We love to keep nurturing our body. Every day we have to release toxins, but we don't judge that. But when we have a negative thought for a second about our body, about our journey, we then decide that we're being fake and we are not on the journey that we are supposed to be on. Drop a 2 if that resonates with you. How many of you have had a moment where you have said, I am going to be positive. I am going to love my body. I'm going to love the color of my skin. I'm going to love the cellulite. I'm going to love my curves. And then you have one moment where you don't accept your body and you've decided that you no longer have a beautiful journey or experience or relationship with your body. Okay? So I want to tell you a story about this perspective. My body positivity journey started with me deciding to love my skin color. It had nothing to do with my curves. It had everything to do with accepting who I am and how I look. And I remember feeling on top of the world. It was one of my first times paying homage to Josephine Baker in New Orleans at the House of Blues. And I felt so great. I felt great about being a dark-skinned Black woman. I felt great about my body. And I had this moment when I got off stage, and I'll never forget, this very interesting looking white man was like, you don't belong on that stage. You're not pretty enough. You're not this. You're not that. And I let myself feel upset. I allowed myself to acknowledge the full range of emotions that I had. I allowed myself to acknowledge that I had one of the best moments of my life and that someone kind of brought me down. But then I hyped myself back up and decided to love my body again. So again, I'll say this. The body positivity can be and probably should be negative sometimes. Feel free to ask me a question about this topic or anything that you want to ask, and just let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about what I'm saying in the chat here. I just don't believe that you have to love how you look every day, and I don't think that's being negative per se, and I don't think you're being fake just because you're having more than one emotion, right? So, someone said there is enough space for you. Let me tell you this. I know that. That's why I'm an icon 20 plus years later. That person didn't know it. But that's the point. The point is, sometimes you're not going to know it. And for me, that is no different than forgetting to eat and hearing my stomach growl. All that means I don't have to judge myself because I had a moment where I forgot to eat. I don't have to judge myself because maybe life got in the way and I forgot to eat. I don't have to judge myself. What do? Oh man, I forgot to eat. My stomach is growling, y'all. I will never forget, y'all. I had jury duty one time. It was a few months ago and I forgot to eat, y'all. My tummy, everything about me is dramatic, including my tummy. And the growls were so rude. It was like so audible. I was sitting in the back of the room and people turned around from the front, and I was like, I am sorry, y'all. I forgot to eat. I forgot to eat. And I think that's what happens with our body positivity journey. I think that's what happens with our self-love journey. I think that's what happens with the healing. I don't think we're supposed to be quote unquote positive. I think we're supposed to be present. I'll say it again. I don't think we're supposed to be quote unquote positive all the time. I think we're supposed to be present. And present means honoring what you feel. And honoring that your journey with your spirit, your mind. Now, I'm not talking about people with mental illness. So if you have mental illness, I understand that your stress and your, thoughts might be a little more debilitating, right? So then you want to definitely talk to someone, that's not my wheelhouse. But for those of you who are, feeling like this is for you, feel free to drop a 1 in the chat. I just think we have to treat our journey with our mind, body, and spirit the same way we treat our journey with food and nurturing our body. Okay, let me see. I feel like I've got some questions here. I got I got a flower. Thank you. I love flowers. We got a 100%. Okay. We got a right. We got a oh wow. Yes, yes, yes. I had to hype myself back up. Let's see. I think I've struggled to show that negative side because of the fear of showing my insecurities and then them being used against me. You know why I think you fear the insecurities being used against you with other people? And y'all tell me how you feel about this in the chat. This was my truth. So if this is not your truth, disregard this advice. But it might be because you think other people are going to treat you how you treat you. Chances are high you are throwing your insecurities back in your own face when you look in the mirror. You have the thoughts of like, oh, you're not doing this, or, oh, what if you did this and you should be doing this and X, Y, and Z. And I think that's totally fine to have those moments of insecurity with self. And what we want to do is learn how to nurture ourselves. Right? So one thing that you can do is allow that inner child, that insecurity to speak, honey. And then what you want to do is tap into your inner burlesque queen diva and go ahead and seduce yourself. Seduce that thought. Seduce that inner child energy and say, okay, I hear you. I do this all the time. Talk out loud to that insecurity, baby. Say, you know what? I hear you. But I'm going to offer you the truth now. I understand that for me, it was like, oh, your dark skin is ugly. Look at how everybody told you were ugly growing up. And I was like, inner child, little one, I know that you feel that way, but let me tell you the truth, baby. Honey, your skin was kissed by the sun. Get into it. So I want to invite you to seduce the fear, seduce the insecurity. I don't think we have to shut it up. I don't think we have to shut it down, because our body has toxins every day that we have to release, and we just go and release those toxins. And I think we're supposed to have that same grace and willingness with our mind, body, and spirit on a deeper level. Let me know if that answered your question. For anyone, let me know how that made you feel. Okay, I'm going back into these questions. Okay, yes. Okay, talking about what I just kind of talked about, like going into these predominantly white spaces. And that can be as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, as a performer. I think a lot of us have had that experience where we knew right away that we were other. And that's when we allow ourselves to acknowledge that we're feeling a little intimidated. But then you call on those ancestors, those powerful ones, not the ones that were downtrodden. You call on those ancestors who went through the back door so that you can go through the front, and ask them to help you remember who you are. You know who you are. And for me, what I do is, before I go into any kind of space, even right now, before I got on this live, I allowed myself to seduce myself. I allowed myself to give myself consent to be powerful, to show up, to trust who I am. And I also said a little prayer saying, I hope those who need to see this will see it. So you go into that room and you ask for the help and you give your body consent to experience it, and you also give yourself consent to leave the space when you are feeling uncomfortable and unsafe. And maybe it's at a work event and you can't just leave the premises, but you can go into the bathroom and allow yourself to recharge. You can let yourself ground yourself. Let me know if that was helpful. Okay. Ooh, honey, how are we going to deal with the folks giving this unsolicited advice, okay, about how sexual your body should look at different ages? What we want to do is learn how to honor our own boundaries. And honoring your boundaries has nothing to do with shifting other people's behavior. It's how you react to said behavior. I am one who gets unsolicited advice all the time, right? And when you are very powerful, darling, people cannot help but try to dim that. And bless their hearts, they do think they're being kind by giving the unsolicited advice. It's a real thing. They really think they're being kind. They probably grew up seeing an elder act like that. And I know how to block people now. I will sashay away mid-sentence for unsolicited advice to keep myself safe, knowing that I might come off as rude, but I'd rather come off as rude to them than my inner child tell me, how dare you not protect me in this moment? Okay, let's get into it. And those of you who want to dive deeper with the coaching with me, feel free to go to the link in my bio. I've got a class this Saturday, okay, in NYC. And I also have a 30 Days of Seduction online course coming up March 7th, okay? Yes, we got an interesting, which is perfect. I love an interesting. I always get that. We got a wow, that reflection. Now, of course, I've been talking my little butt off, so I don't know what y'all are responding to. Feel free to dive deeper and let me know what you're responding to. Okay, yes, seduce the thought, honey. Seduce the thought. Okay, more of a comment. But thank you for sending the message that boundaries are important. They really are. Okay, the reaction to the boundary is important. Okay, and it is about giving yourself consent. I was taught the same lesson I think a lot of us were taught. Like, how do I get people to show up the way I want them to? How do I honor my boundaries? And it's like, you have to change. And that's the scary part for people. Because when we think we are becoming empowered, that we're going to change how the world shows up for us. And truly being empowered in yourself is about you having the willingness to change and know that you're worthy of a new story. And it doesn't mean you're abandoning the old story. It's a beautiful new chapter. Okay, keep the questions coming. All right, any tips for women jumping into burlesque for the first time? I would say if you want to work with someone like me who offers burlesque training for professionals, people who want to do what I did, which is have a career for over 20 plus years, traveling all over the world. Or if you want to do burlesque, it's more of an empowerment invitation for you. You want to always start honoring that you're in the infancy stage of this new beginning. Right? So when you were an infant, we were all eating with our hands and we had someone there coaching us and encouraging us. And one thing that people want to skip often when they are transitioning in any way is finding a guide. So find someone that you think would help you on this path. You can start with free training on like YouTube, see who's teaching burlesque in your local area. We are in a beautiful era of online classes. So you want to start by seeing who kind of represents the kind of career you want or the liberation you want, and start by investing in yourself with your dollars, quite frankly. So for me, anytime I have transitioned, I went straight to finding a teacher. A lot of people, start, I think, backwards. So it's like, I want to do burlesque. I want to be liberated. So let me start by getting a costume. Let me start here. I think you should always start with learning. The same goes for people who are entrepreneurs. It's like, let me start with the logo. Let me start with this. It's like, who's the logo going to, boo? Start by building an actual audience. Start by seeing how you actually want to show up for your audience. So that's my advice, and that's what I did when I started burlesque. I started in the studio with a teacher. I kind of practiced on stage. Like, a lot of people think my burlesque career started in like 2008 when they saw me, but I started in 2003, and I was working behind the scenes perfecting my craft. And I did the same thing with my burlesque business as well. Okay, let's see. Yes, we got to sashay away to protect the inner child. Anytime you're getting unsolicited advice, listen to your body. Your body will tell you when it feels like you're in harm's way. And again, you may come off as the rude person to the person being rude, which I'm notorious for. You might come off as being rude to the person being rude, but you have to choose who you need to protect. And I'm going to say always protect that inner child and that inner diva, because both of them are responsible for you being brave. Okay. Yes, I love this reflection. Looking at yourself and visiting the idea that it's your insecurities and honoring it without taking outside sources to heart. Yeah, when it comes to our insecurities, I don't think we have to be ashamed of them. And a lot of times the insecurity is an invitation for you to heal your mindset, to heal your own connection. But, we've all been taught to look towards outside forces. And one of my specialties is, no matter what has happened to me, professionally, personally, I've always been able to find my own inner light. And, burlesque definitely helped me do that. Burlesque gave me an opportunity to finally have that full agency over my story, over my body. And that's what I teach now. Okay, let's see. Keep those questions coming. And don't forget that you can work with me, especially if you're in New York City for some reason this Saturday. I have a workshop. I have 8 spots left for that. And then starting March 7th, if you want to work with me online, I have a 30 days of seduction program. And it's 4 weeks of a good old burlesque kiki and burlesque inspired rituals to help you reconnect and come back to your body. Okay, hey love, I'm a newbie. Okay, and she's absolutely right. Okay, taking the baby steps. All right, yes. So you're responding to someone else. Okay. All right, let me scroll up and see if I've missed anything. Today we are talking about body positivity. We're talking about taking our agency back. I believe that body positivity should be negative sometimes. And what I mean by that is you should allow yourself to be able to experience your full range of emotions. You should put yourself in a place to where that inner child, who's probably responsible for said negative thoughts, feels safe. And then as the adult now, you comfort the inner child with the truth. You are very welcome. Let's see here. Do we have any more questions? Let me scroll up. See if I missed anything. Thank y'all for being here. Was this helpful? Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Let me look at my notes and see if I had anything else. I think that's it. Your experience is your own. Again, body positivity should be negative sometimes. Sometimes those negative thoughts are kind of proof of the evolution, because once you decide to sort of switch your mindset and, change your relationship with your body, the old habits, the old thoughts, you're going to start hearing them more. And it's just proof that you're evolving. But what you can teach yourself to do is to soothe the thoughts. You can let the thoughts have an opportunity to speak, and then you can self-soothe. All right. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions. If not, I'm going to go. I have an interview at 1 p.m., which is soon. Let's see. Also, I hope y'all are enjoying these lives. I am, and I plan on doing more. Those of you who are just joining, I think I'm going to clock out of here, and I will upload the replay, and you can look back, and we talked about body positivity and my thoughts on it being okay if you have negative thoughts about your body sometimes, and how you can self-soothe. Of course, I'm always going to tell you to tap into your inner burlesque queen diva when this comes up. And one way you can do that is, through storytelling. Burlesque is one of the oldest forms of theater. And theater, of course, is about telling a beautiful story. And so you can start teaching yourself to tell a beautiful story in your mind and understand that that is not you being fake, right? And also, y'all, we want to dive deep into why we think being positive towards ourselves is fake and why we are resistant of being kind to ourselves. So when these thoughts come up about your body or about anything, allow that inner child to speak, and then comfort the inner child with a new story or the truth. And that's a beautiful way that you can tap into your inner burlesque diva and self-soothing yourself. You can seduce your thoughts. Okay? You can also allow yourself to feel. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Let me just scroll up one more time. Those of you who are just joining, thank you so much. I'm going to upload the replay. I think I answered everybody today. Please go to the link in my bio or either DM me workshops, because I have a workshop on this Saturday in New York from 1 to 5. It's a beautiful intensive. We're going to have a kiki. There'll be some light bites involved, and we'll just see how the day goes. And then starting March 7th, you can join my 30 days of seduction journey. It'll be 4 weeks of burlesque classes, self-love classes, and I always throw in some beautiful bonuses as well. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for your time. I will talk to y'all later. Okay, bye.